Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Tradesman Experience. This is the podcast built by tradesmen for tradesmen, where we discuss business, culture, leadership, and the mindset it takes to build a business and life you're proud of. My name is Josh. Let's get into it and let's get shit done. Today in the studio is Mr. Nate Newton. Nate, how are you, sir?
What a weird intro. I don't like that.
So I'm
already. Is that weird? Blindsided?
It's already weird. I know.
Yeah.
So I'm tossing some changes at you today. No, I decided to do a pre-recorded intro, basically similar to what we've done for 330 episodes.
Okay.
I just wanted to be able to have something to plug in at the beginning. It's super easy when I'm doing interviews.
Okay.
Because we just kind of roll into a conversation, but I
It's
just
still
wanted
weird.
you to respond.
I don't like it. I don't like it.
Oh man. So yeah, we've got some changes coming up. Anybody that saw the Instagram, it's no longer at the Tradesman Experience. It is now at Blue Collar Insiders. And what we've been doing, this isn't like new, like the name change on the Instagram is new, but Greg and I have started a company called Blue Collar Insiders. And that is now the housing and the umbrella for all of the coaching.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's one-to-one, the group coaching, our Blue Collar Boot Camp, everything is now housed in Blue Collar Insiders. We have a new website with a lot more information, a lot more accessibility, and everything but the podcast is changing into our Blue Collar Insiders format. So the Tradesman Experience is now just really a partner and affiliate of our coaching program.
So is the podcast still the Tradesman Experience?
It is.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Good.
Yeah.
And it's been 5 years building this thing for you to wipe it out from underneath me. Well, that's awesome. That's exciting, dude. I know you guys have been, making a lot of big changes and doing a lot of new stuff. And, I think I talked about it a little bit on the Bourbon and Ballistics podcast, but I'm fucking pumped for you guys and all the stuff that you guys got going on with the acquisitions and the coaching. Seems like it's finally starting to get some traction. So
we've got a really, really awesome group in that community. We are getting ready to go into week 3 of our 3rd Blue Collar Boot Camp.
Mm-hmm.
And like anything with repetition, you just get better at it. And the conversations continue to get better. The new members, right, get to mingle with the OGs, and and there's such good conversation because we get to talk about real things in real time that really matter.
Mm-hmm.
But the reason for the change was we didn't want to keep Tradesman Experience and True Pros separate the whole time.
Right.
So that is the marriage of those two companies. So now it's all under Blue Collar Insiders.
Mm-hmm.
True Pros still exists. Tradesman Experience still exists. I wanted to move everything over but the podcast because we have this brand and we have the Tradesman Experience, and we have, again, 330 or 50 or however many episodes. We had a conversation about the impact of rebranding it, and we all came to the same conclusion that it wasn't a good idea to change the name of the podcast, which I didn't want to do.
Right.
But I also believe in having conversations about things. It's like, okay, if we did, what would happen? So that structure is giving us the ability and the autonomy to do things like the acquisition. So we're applying more structure on the back end for us, and the huge benefit on the front end for the clients is they have a much cleaner path and cleaner option of how to work with us and get into that community.
Right. Yeah. That's fucking smart. I mean, I when we went to the Business Builder up here in Reno, like, to watch you guys work together was like, I'm so stoked that this is still happening. Like, that you guys are still, on the path that you guys are, because it's working, and I know that it's helped us out tremendously. Like our our superintendent and executive assistant are both in the boot camp pretty much every week, and being a part of that, and like the shit they get out of it, they're both pumped every time they leave one of those meetings. And I'm like, thank God, you guys go do something, show yourselves. Like,
the concept that we're, again, this is an evolving project for us because we want to be able to add value. Ultimately, we want to add value to people, help them solve their problems, put them in a community, and build relationships where they feel they can have these conversations openly and honestly. Because most of us are very protected and guarded about the things that are going wrong, and we like to brag about the things that we believe are going right, even though if they are or not, I don't know.
Yeah.
But again, this is simplifying the structure for everyone to have access to that community. We're going to be relaunching the toolbox.
Oh, okay.
As a separate entity, or a separate option of coaching. But we're going to add something really cool to it this time. So inside the Blue Collar Insiders community, Greg and I are starting an exclusive podcast inside. So you can get into the community, you can subscribe to the toolbox and have access to the exclusive podcast.
Well, there you go.
So that's one of the new pieces that we're going to be launching in that community, which I'm really excited about because it's a high value, low entry to get into the community. It's going to be $47 a month,
right?
To have the toolbox and the podcast. And then if you want to get into the next boot camp, it's an additional $200.
Shit.
It's like you go $247 and now a month, and you get into 3 months of boot camp. So to me, since we like transparency, if we're talking about barrier to entry, we're lowering that barrier. Right. We're giving people a little bit more autonomy when they can come in. We don't allow open enrollment in the boot camp. We talked about that today in our strategy meeting. And I still push against it. And here's why. I don't want somebody coming in at week 6 asking questions about week 1.
Yeah. It's got to be structured out like that. There's no way you can't just jump in the middle of that and try and rodeo with it.
You're going to be so far behind.
Yeah.
And then by trying to catch up, you're going to be dragging everybody else behind. So as of right now, we're still keeping that structure, but the question come up, well, what can we offer potential clients or people to get into this community if they miss the enrollment? So now we are going to be relaunching the toolbox and introducing the BCI podcast. So
sweet.
Just a little insight to what we're doing and why we're doing it and what the structure looks like moving forward and how it's going to benefit everybody that wants to be involved.
I mean, shit, dude, I do this podcast all the time, and we still find benefits in all of the stuff you're talking about. And, like whether that's the toolbox or the boot camp, like we get stuff out of it, and I do this every week. So it's like, the value's there.
Yeah. Greg's lesson, he was teaching accounting 101 and P&Ls. That was our Q&A last night. I learned something every time.
Right.
That when it's his lesson, I mean, I sit back as part of the audience and even ask questions or create scenarios, learn something every time. So it is a ever evolving group. I don't fucking know everything. Greg doesn't know everything. And then we run through these scenarios, and then the other members in the group are like, hey, we ran into this, and this is what we did, and this is what happened, and this is what worked, and this is what didn't work. So it creates that transparency, creates that relationships, and you get some different perspectives. And I encourage the members of the community. I say, hey, if you're relying on Greg and I, you're bottlenecking your own success.
Right.
Talk to each other outside of this of this group.
Right.
You guys connect. They're scattered out all over the country.
Is it a bunch of welders?
There's a bunch in there. Oh my God.
It is a welding podcast.
Okay. So I got to give a shout out to AJ. We were in he's one of the new members of the boot camp and one of the new members into the community. and every Q&A, somehow somebody's firing shots off that it's a welding podcast. It never fucking fails. It's a third boot camp, and no one's ever missed a week. So AJ, being the asshole that he is, holds up a cup, and on one side it's laser engraved. It says, "Get stuff done, my friend."
Mhm.
And he turns it 180 and it says, "This is a welding podcast." And I'm like, you son of a bitch.
Oh, that's fucking great.
So he texts me after and he's like, "Hey man, what's your address? I'm sending you this cup." I was like, God.
Oh, dude, speaking of which, I haven't gotten it yet, but I'm gonna need, after we get done, I need you to give me your address because I got you something that is, you're gonna fucking die when you get
Okay.
it. It's fucking great. I was laughing out loud while I was ordering it. I'm like, I am so brilliant.
So funny. So yeah. So that's the kind of community. It's there's a lot of ball busting and you know, a lot of shit talking and a lot of stuff learned.
Mhm.
And there's a lot to take in. So
Good.
yeah, so that's part of what everybody's going to be seeing. The other cool thing is Blue Collar Insiders. We hired our first employee. We have a remote team member.
Okay.
He's going to be taking over the back end logistics of the community now. We're going to start doing, I can't remember if it's weekly or monthly newsletters. But one of the feedbacks that we got from somebody I respect in the group very much, Jacob, he said, honestly, your guys' weakest point is you don't have a lot of engagement with us. Like,
Mhm.
noted. Okay, we need to step that shit up.
Yeah.
So our remote team member, his name is also Joshua. We're putting someone in charge. We're giving someone the responsibility of cultivating the brand and continuing to build and cultivate that community.
Mhm.
So we've brought somebody on board to increase that experience and to increase
Sweet.
that
Fuck yeah.
value. And right now, so far, this guy is an animal.
Hmm.
We, you know, we did the interviews. Of course, I had responsibilities all listed out and what we're going to be doing and all that kind of shit.
No way.
No, you wouldn't do that. You know, we had a couple of interviews with him, but before his official start date, he had already started building a 90-day marketing plan for our brand.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Damn.
And so we met, walked me through it, made some adjustments. And he's like, "Oh, I need to change that, that, and that." He's already building branding kits. The guy has been very, very aggressive about taking ownership of his role. And I kind of got caught with my pants down because I was asking him questions. And about the third time in this 20-minute conversation, he said, "Well, that is in the marketing plan that I created." I hadn't read it.
You fucking asshole.
Yeah. And I'm like, so, okay, I got it. Touche. You're right. I didn't read the marketing plan. I will read the marketing plan before we talk again. But
Dude, just the thought of you with your pants down, that's unpleasant to
boner.
begin with. So, yeah.
You're going the other way with that. Sorry.
Sure. I mean, turn my Audi to an innie, but all right.
Moist like a chocolate cake.
Gross. That's fucking disgusting.
Just ruined everyone's grandma's recipe for chocolate cake, you know.
Yeah.
It's over.
We will be having white cake. Yeah.
I got Katie to watch that movie like a month and a half ago. Django.
Oh yeah, yeah. We just watched it. We went on like this fucking Tarantino torrent and basically ran through every Tarantino flick in the matter of like 2 weeks. And I was like, God, I forgot how fucking good these are. You know?
So good.
Yeah.
The Hateful Eight. Have you seen the extended version?
No, I just saw the
Bro.
theater one. Yeah.
I'm not kidding. I started to get uncomfortable. I'm like, they say this word a lot.
Yeah, right.
Like a lot.
Yeah. That's typical Tarantino, you know?
It is.
Yeah.
It is. But the extended version, they have to say it 100 more times than the cut
Oh,
version.
that's shit.
It's
Jesus.
like I
Could
said,
you imagine being in a room with Samuel L. Jackson and saying that word? I would be shitting my pants, you know?
Oh man. So
like in Pulp Fiction when he says it straight to his face, and I'm like, dude, you nerdy little shit. Like, you better watch yourself.
the Tarantino movies, man, they're so good though.
Yeah. Dude, you know what didn't get enough recognition was Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
So good.
It was fucking great.
I think the big disconnect in that is most people didn't know the Sharon Tate story.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I think that was the big disconnect because the ending was just the ending. If you didn't know the Sharon Tate story, if you knew the Sharon Tate story, it was fucking beautiful what they did with that movie.
Uh-huh.
Right.
Right.
And the outcome, like it was fantastic how they brought her back to life and replayed out that scenario with a different ending. It's fucking fantastic.
Right. Right.
So if anybody that's not, again, doesn't have context of the Manson family and the ranch and the Sharon Tate murders and stuff, there's a lot of that movie. It's not going to make sense to them.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I remember I was watching it with somebody. They're like, is this like some knockoff Manson thing? And I'm like, no, it is the Manson thing. It's not a fucking knockoff.
And again, like so much of it was kind of real, you know?
Yeah.
There's I don't want to say it was all factual, but it was based on a lot of factual things.
Yeah.
So I thought that movie was great. And
it was fucking on point, dude.
Yeah. The performances too. I really enjoyed the performances in that movie. Especially Brad Pitt's character.
Caves that bitch's face in on the mantle. I was like, oh my God.
when he footballs that can of whatever he's about to eat. Also, if you like Tarantino, you clearly like violent movies.
Violence, right? Yeah. It did not disappoint.
Never does. The first time, this was a decade or so ago, first time I watched Reservoir Dogs, A, I didn't know who Quentin Tarantino was, and B, I was so confused at the end of that movie. Oh,
yeah. I mean, it's kind of like watching The Big Lebowski. Like, you got to watch it a couple times to really know what the fuck is going on. But I think the wildest part about Reservoir Dogs was the budget that they had for it. They essentially shot an entire movie in one fucking room because they had no money. So that's why there's so much dialogue in that one room, is because they couldn't get funding for it.
Right.
And then it's a fucking cult classic now, you know.
Oh, man. I do need to watch it again. I just remember walking away from that movie like, I have no idea what just happened. And why was that the end?
Yeah. Yeah.
But having an appreciation for his work now, I think I would enjoy it much more.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Much more. But if you get bored one night, watch the extended version of Hateful Eight.
Will do.
And who's the sheriff of Red Rock? That Goggins is it something Goggins is his name.
Oh yeah. He's also from Fallout. Yeah. I know who you're talking about. Yeah. That guy's fucking hilarious.
He is hilarious.
No, and it's like not even deliberately hilarious, you know?
Right.
Like, it's just, he'd play such a good dumbass, you know?
So good. Oh shit. I don't even know what we were talking about, but somehow we got on Tarantino movies.
This is so blue collar. Yeah.
But the official topic I wanted to discuss tonight was similarly related to us in the rebranding, and very related to some of the adjustments that you guys have made internally about what you want to be known for. But even deeper than that, who is your client? What type of work do you want to be the go-to for? And, you know, you guys have migrated away from commercial. I know it's not a complete cutoff, but you've heavily migrated out of commercial, and the market and the area that you're in, you guys have this great opportunity for high-end residential. And we talk to a lot of people that try to do everything for everybody, and everybody does that in the beginning. You did it. We did it. I mean,
chasing shiny shit half the time, you know? Like,
well, and you go into business and you start business with a scarcity mindset, right? So the opposite of scarcity is everything. So we're going to do everything, and we're going to do it for everybody. And you have to work pretty aggressively to narrow that down. You can't be doing the same thing 5 years later.
Right.
You can't be doing everything for
Yeah.
everybody 5 years later.
Well, and dude, that's, you know, the whole doing everything for everybody. That's been a big pivot that I've made since I've taken the business over. I am very selective as to who we work for now. You know, a couple fucking lawsuits and some other shit that fucking happened along the way. Like, that's why we left commercial also, because that entire industry is just a fucking race to the bottom right now. Like, everybody's out there, they're cutting their own fucking throats, not even cutting each other's throats, you know, and the investors always win. I'll put it that way. You know, all these multifamily units, these commercial buildings, dude, commercial real estate's about to fall out anyway. You're going to see a huge surge in repurposing of commercial buildings because they're fucking empty. You know, there's no need for office space anymore. So you're going to see them start to revamp these buildings. Dude, they've done it to a couple of the casinos up there up in Reno, where it was a casino. Somebody bought it, gutted it, and turned it into condos. You know, and because gaming's kind of taking a back seat here in Northern Nevada. It's still pretty prevalent down in Las Vegas, but you know, that we need housing more than we need a fucking casino right now. And I mean, shit, dude, we don't touch houses that are under 3 million. You know, and that's for something down here in the valley. But you know, the most expensive house that we've touched is probably about $30 million up at the lake, which it was a compound with multiple structures on it. You know, the guest house was about 4 times the size of my fucking house. You know, but I don't want to work for fucking deadbeats anymore. I don't want to work for investors. You know, like I want to build something for someone that I can get their input on and build shit that they are going to enjoy.
You know, something I found, and I'll use small scale numbers to prove my point. I've had easier, and we've seen this recently. We have an easier time selling a $5,000 job than a $500 repair.
Yeah, right.
The low ticket item customer complains more than the $5,000, $10,000, $50,000 customer.
And it's a straight up race to the bottom on that lower end shit. You know, everybody's like, all they care about is price. That's all they fucking care about. And like, dude, we ain't the fucking ones if that's what you're looking for. You know, like we're not here to do it cheaper. You know, if anything, you know, we typically, especially in the custom home market, we land middle number most of the time. Half the time we don't even get chosen for that. They go with the guy that was more expensive than we were. You know, it's very rare that we're the lowest number. But we don't do the lowest quality work either. You know, like there's a value that comes along with what you get with us. So, and I've learned to lean into that. And so instead of beating my head against the wall, I'm doing something that I said I wasn't going to do. And we're branching into California. We're getting our contractor's license over the hill. I got friends that are custom home builders in the Bay Area. You got Martis Camp, you know, anywhere around the lake. But I mean, the custom home market's everywhere, you know. And I'll probably be looking at moving into Colorado and Idaho as well. But yeah, because we know what we're doing and we've done so well at it, we can structure this thing to where we can fabricate our packages here, fly a guy out to go pull, go verify field dimensions. And then do we just send a fucking erection crew out and they bang it out in 3 or 4 days, maybe a week, but we throw the kitchen sink at it. And then I've got a good buddy that I met this guy in Belize. He owns this company called Trade Force. They're based out of Denver. And it's essentially like a temp company, but for trades.
Is it like Tradesman International?
Yes, okay. Like that. Yeah. So, but he was like, yeah, dude, I've got a ton of welders. So like, if we got to hire somebody to go button something up and, go, if something got missed or whatever, we can just employ one of these guys that's already in the area, send him out to go take care of it. And we're not redispatching a whole crew to go handle it. So I've got a bunch of that stuff's in the works. It's kind of just a brainchild right now, but I want to stay in the high end residential. That's where we belong. Yeah.
There's a book that everybody needs to go read. It's called Who Moved My Cheese. It's not a very long book, but it's a parable of how the market changes and how you need to adapt. And the market has drastically changed in the last 2 years, and it's drastically changed since, everybody's scared to death about the tariffs right now.
Oh my God, calm down.
I know, but
chill the fuck out.
But we know manufacturers or distributors are price gouging right now, so it's affecting.
That's exactly what they're doing, dude. They're using fucking panic tactics. Like, because I did a little research into the tariff shit. So Canada and Mexico make up 5% of the American GDP. Less than 5%. That's everything that they sell us. Steel and iron and aluminum and all that shit, dude, less than 1% into our market. And we build everything in country. People think we don't manufacture anything. We don't build anything. We don't supply our own ore or our own steel or any of that kind of shit. Dude, I don't even think I can get Chinese steel if I fucking wanted to, And so, because pretty much everything, especially on the public works side of things, it has to be made in America. We have a ton of market value involved there. And so like when our tube steel went up 14 cents a pound in 1 month, there was nothing to justify that cost fluctuation other than price gouging due to tariffs. Yeah.
One of the guys I was talking to the other day, he had some columns priced out for this big job, and it was like $7 or $8 grand was the original price. Over a month or whatever it was, he goes back 34,000 for the same thing.
Holy shit. Yeah. What the fuck?
A 500% increase in 30 days. And it's ridiculous because I don't know this particular situation, but if that fucking thing was on the shelf 30 days ago, it's still the same price.
Yeah, right.
It didn't move. There was no tariff. There was no logistic. That particular piece, but again, they're taking an opportunity in price gouge, and my point is, people have to learn how to adapt to the market, because I still think that it's going to get a little worse before it starts getting better. And we're seeing it in the home service industries. People just, because it's all residential, right? It's all home. They're just, a lot of people aren't spending money that they don't have to spend right now.
Right. Because they're worried.
Because they're worried. So upgrades and things like that are kind of getting put on the pause. People are doing repair work, but they're price shopping everything right now. And as much of an advocate as I am, and this is, somebody could clip this and it would sound like I'm a complete contradiction, but my point, what I was going to say is the change in the market. Obviously, I'm an advocate for selling on value, but you also have to understand your pricing and your structures and your margin, because nothing at 40% is worse than work at 30%, as long as you're still profitable.
Right. And that's the problem that we've run into, especially up here in Northern Nevada, is that things just aren't being built because the building costs are too high, because the whether that's the rates are out of control or the materials are out of control. But once that stifles the market a bit and shit doesn't go, well, then the pricing starts coming down, and it's like the market correcting itself. And because by nature, as business owners, we're going to get greedy and try and get every fucking dime we can out of it. Right. I personally like to just maintain at a constant pace and make sure that there's at least 6 months of work in front of everybody. I'm not trying to gouge the market and fucking take off all crazy with it. We make good money, don't get me wrong, but I'm also not hammering the market every time some asshole gets up on a microphone and announces some plan that they're doing about something,
Yeah. Because so many companies are racing to the bottom right now, it's a survive, not thrive environment. Now, there are particular industries and areas that are affected much less than others. that's just fucking business, and that's location, and that's the industry, and that's if you're that, you know, that's commodities, features, benefits, solutions. It depends what you're selling. Depends how you're selling it. But the point that I ultimately want to make is you can either bitch and complain about it, or you can have such intricate knowledge and control of your business that you can weaponize yourself to adapt as necessary and keep fucking moving forward.
Right. Yeah.
Hey guys, quick interruption. We got the one-day event coming up August 22nd in Houston, Texas. Now, early bird pricing is only good until the end of May. A ticket's only $297. Steve Rosenberg, Joni Wolfswinkel, and myself are going to be on stage all in one day. It's going to be high impact. It's going to be high energy, and it's going to give you actionable items that you can take back to your business. That's going to help you be more successful. It's going to help your company be more successful. It's going to help your team be more successful. We're going to talk about marketing and scaling. We're going to be talking about building a remote team and operations, and we're going to be talking about leadership. So get over to the website, thetradesmanexperience.com. Click the link. It's the first thing that you see. Get your early bird tickets for $297 because after May 31st, they go up. All right, guys, let's get back to the show. Absolutely. But everybody's like, oh, the market this and the tariffs that. And it's like, you can't control that.
Yeah. And it's never stagnant. There's always something going on. There's something happening. Like, you're not going to go back to, you know, first presidency of Donald Trump type economy. Like, we're too fucked to get back to that. So quit hoping and praying that somebody's going to come in and fix this shit for you and start making better decisions.
Right. So, yeah. Back to my point. Everybody needs to read the book, Who Moved My Cheese. It's a great story about adapting in business and adapting to the market. But back to my original concept here was, if you don't know what you want to be known for, and you don't know who your client is, and you don't know what's available to you, you are going to be reactive to everything. You're going to say yes to the things you should say no to, and you're just going to go broke doing it. And I think it's interesting to me that people that these business owners, the race to the bottom, because I fucking disagree with it, but they would rather sell a job and lose money on it than not have a job at all. There's no faster way to go out of business than losing money on a job. You could sell nothing and lose nothing, as opposed to selling a job and losing 10%. Because at the end of the day, you're still losing 10%.
Right.
But
you did the work.
and you did the work. And it's like, okay, so you did the work. You generated some cash flow. The only thing that you did was you prolonged your death a little bit more, except now it's going to be more painful because you just lost 10% on that job.
Right.
But most business owners can't tell you if they won or lost on a job anyway. I don't know. I think I made money.
Right. Yeah. I mean, dude, just having job tread and having the job costing staring us in the face all the time. It's like, hey, what are we doing? Like, what the fuck, you know? But you can see it in real time, and you can make corrections before, you know, instead of just job costing at the end, which most of us try and do. If we're job costing as we're going, we know if the project's in trouble. You know what I mean?
Which, if the job has any length of time to it at all, you have to be job costing as you go. Right. Even if it's based on not necessarily what you've paid out versus what you've collected, because you get a down payment and maybe you're waiting for a draw, but what you've spent versus what you think you should have spent at this point. Like, that's what you need to be comparing.
Yeah. Yeah. And that especially for us, because you can't build a custom home in under 2 years. I've seen guys try and promise 18 months that don't fucking happen. So for us to be able to look at this stuff while we're in a 2-year stretch working on one house, we know exactly where we're at with it, you know? And that, dude, sometimes we don't go back to these houses we don't come back for 2 years. We'll go in, do the structural, and we're not back to do all the ornamental for 2 years. And then it's like, wait, shit, what were we doing here again? Like, and that's something we have to be cognizant of too, is I'm going to be implementing it into our contracts now that ornamental pricing is subject to change because, dude, 2 years makes a big fucking difference. And so if we don't come back for 2 years and pricing has changed, labor rates have changed, all that shit's changed, we need to be able to renegotiate those pricings. So
is it expected that the prices are going to be the price through the whole length of the project?
Yes.
Really? That's interesting.
That is the anticipation. But what I've been doing for the last couple of years is that I essentially tell them, hey, this is a budgetary number for your railings. This is a placeholder to give you a rough idea of what it's going to cost to do all the interior and exterior. But because they love to change the design, they do it to me fucking. Dude, there's been times where we've gotten an entire railing system done. Client didn't like it. We ripped it all out and did it all over again. So $60,000 railing system went in, got torn out, thrown away, and another $60,000 got put in. And they got charged for them both, but they want what they want. So that's just the way it fucking happens. So, but they're like, well, the contract price said this amount, and it's like, yeah, that was 2 fucking years ago. So I always put in there that it's budgetary, and I make adjustments once we actually go to build it. So, yeah.
One of the tactics that we all need to get better at too is over communicating on the front end. We talked about this in our Q&A last night because we were discussing P&Ls and accounting 101 and ultimately having control and understanding your finances. So many contractors are scared to discuss money, not price, money on the front end. And if you're not sitting down and talking to people about, deposits, upfront deposits, whatever it is, it's different in every state. So I'm not going to tell you that it has to be 50%, but you need to be having deposits. Are there going to be progress payments? What does that look like? What does payment scheduling look like? How long is this projected to go? The fact that we don't sit down with these project managers or whoever and have these conversations up front, so there's some level of expectation, blows my mind, because we'll complain when we don't get paid, and we'll complain when we don't know what's going on. And then we start this, pissing contest with the contractor because nothing was agreed upon except we would do the work and then we would get the money. You've got to stop trying to finance these jobs out of your own pocket and have the conversation about money.
Yeah, because we end up being 0% interest banks is what 100%. We end up doing.
Right.
And I fucking hate that. Because as a sub, they've kind of got you by the fucking balls. But you need to make your demands clear up front. And I mean, that's kind of a big reason why we're driving out of the commercial market. Just the lack of payment schedules, like not getting paid. So let's say you show up on site on the first of the month, you work that whole month, and then you bill out for it. And then you don't get paid for another 45 days after that. So you're net 75 at that point. Fuck that, dude. Like, you're not using my fucking money for free. Like, and they're trying to operate off 10% profit margins. And I'm like, no, I'm not getting out of bed for that.
We just went through that with an out-of-state contractor. We ended up, I think, losing, we had to walk away from 20 grand. And it was just because we didn't take the time up front to cross our T's, dot our I's, talk about progress payment, scheduling. And then they said that they had to do some work and back charged us for it. Like, right. So no discussion of scope, no approval, no, just a lot of things. Like, we get so complacent in doing the work that we don't learn how to play the game. And everybody that's listening, it's a game.
Right.
And you got to learn how to play the game. And you have to have these conversations, and you have to talk about money, and you have to talk about scope of work, and think of it about putting yourself in a position when you do all of this and then somebody misses a payment, and you can go, all right, well, we're going to stop work until our progress payments are up to date, and then we'll start work again.
Right. Yeah. That's, dude, the power you have to walk off of a fucking job and just not do anything, you need to utilize that shit. If they're not fucking paying, they're not holding up their end of the bargain, fucking walk off. Yeah, as soon as we get a check, we'll fucking come back.
Yeah, why there aren't, I mean, I don't know why there are so many laws favoring the general contractors.
Right.
It's,
Yeah. Well, Nevada's actually pretty good, but you have to utilize them, and you have to understand that you're probably going to ruin a relationship by using those. I am not afraid to sue anybody now.
right.
Yeah, fucking pay me or don't. I don't fucking care.
Yep.
I'll fucking just sue you, you know, which I don't like that tactic, but
Mhm.
I've been fucked around so many goddamn times that it's like, yeah, this is just how you have to do business now.
I wish more people had the boldness to do that. Let's say you owe me 20 grand and it's like, and I say, okay, I'm going to come after my money. And it might cost me 30. Out of sheer principle, I would rather lose that $10,000 to that attorney than walk away from 20,000 that you owe me.
Oh, dude, the state of Nevada, they're required to pay your fucking legal fees. The state will go to bat for you every fucking time. So, like, that's the thing. It's like, yeah, they don't want to pay you, and then you're worried about jeopardizing the relationship. So, if you want to have a relationship with somebody, don't fucking pay you. Like, why?
Right.
Why are you working with these assholes? You know.
And there's so many games that they play. You know, you're 3/4 of the way in this project. They still owe you 50% of the money. It's becoming an issue to collect, but they want you to start bidding more work for them.
Yep.
And so you end up in this carrot or the stick, right?
Yeah.
And how much you try to continue to cultivate this relationship. Oh yeah, we'll bid the work, and you play that game out until you get paid, and then you tell them to go screw themselves.
Right.
Or if you just like, no, we're not bidding any work, you don't pay. Well, you know, that's going to make the current situation
really not
even
going
worse.
to pay. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, again, like it's this stupid game that these investors and contractors, and it always seems worse with out of state, right? You get an out of state contractor come in, they're rolling in there to rape somebody.
Yeah. Yeah. We don't even bid out of state contractors. I won't take them on.
I don't blame you at all. I would not either.
Well, I think there's something that people need to understand, that if you're a contractor, that means that you are dealing in contracts, which is a legal matter.
Mm-hmm.
Use your fucking lawyer. Plain and simple, dude. Like, if people aren't, because that's the thing, you're adhering to the fucking contract. You go out, you do the work, you stand behind your shit, get it done on time, and then you don't get paid. Use your fucking lawyer.
Right. So here's the other stupid part of that game is the contractor says, well, you either sign this or I'll find somebody else to do the job.
Now find somebody else.
And then so the good part about understanding business is putting yourself in a situation where you can say that. Right. A lot of contractors are 10 days from bankruptcy. They can't afford to say no to a job.
Well, but if you have a contractor that's weaponizing the contract against you, like either sign this or fuck off, it's not going to go well for you. They want you to sign this because they got you by the fucking balls. It's not going to go well for you. Just walk.
No, I agree. And I mean, I wish that we could start this movement that give more power to subcontractors.
Yep.
And not that the laws need to change. We just got to get better at understanding it.
Right.
And better at communication, and better at asking hard questions, and better at making demands. And and that will change. I think, you know, I talk about private equity taking over, and they're banking on the fact that we're ignorant about business. Fucking general contractors do the same thing. Not all of them. You know, I know some good general contractors. You know some good general contractors. But a lot of them bank on the fact that we're fucking stupid.
Yep.
They're planning on it.
Right.
I mean, if they look at their subcontractors and they can pocket 5, 10, 20 grand off of every subcontractor contract because we're not willing to play the game and weaponize ourselves with knowledge and communication, of course they're going to keep playing the game. Why wouldn't they make $100,000 on a project?
Right. Right.
No,
well, and a lot of them, they'll deliberately not pay you because they think that you're not going to go through the trouble of lawyering up, or, you know, that they basically just won't pay you to see what they can get away with. And so if you come out of the gates and you don't have your check within 30 days, you send a fucking demand letter right away.
Yeah. What is the window? 90?
Yeah, you have 90 days to file a lien from your last day on site. So I mean, you can still sue them, you know, but
right.
You don't really have any. You don't got a leg to stand on. You know, you took your negotiating power away.
That's right. And that's good for people to know, that they need to know what that is in their state, because what can happen is you negotiate and you get a contractor that keeps dangling the carrot. Yeah, we're closing on that. We haven't collected yet. We'll get you paid. And they drag you along and get you outside of the window where you can't file a lien.
Yep.
And then they will say, well, there's no money. We're back charging you, or we got to do this, or you didn't do that. And then they start the game, and you can't file a lien because now you are outside the window.
Right.
So you guys need to know what that is. And if it's 90 days on fucking day 89, if I'm going to go that long, day 89, I'm filing a lien.
Yeah. I just file the fucking lien, dude. File the lien. Yep. We had a contractor try and do that to us recently. Mm-hmm. They thought that they had stretched it out past the window, but we had gone back in and done something, and I had all the receipts that like, no, we were here on this date. We're still within our right to lien. So filed the lien, still didn't get a response. Filed a demand letter, still didn't get a response. So we just fucking sued them.
Yeah.
It's amazing how quick they pick up the phone once the lawsuit starts fucking getting engaged, you know? But I mean, I just had people not communicate. I couldn't get anybody to answer a phone. Right. Nobody would call me back, email me back. So, like, all right, we'll go to fucking court then.
What else I want people to understand is when it gets to that level, it's just business.
Yeah.
Like when you take the personal relationship out of it and you start trying to screw me out of money, it's just business. And I'm going to fight you back with every tooth and nail and battle axe that I have.
Right.
So you want to make it about money? We're just going to make it about business. I don't give a shit.
We'll just go to court. Yeah, we'll go to court.
Fine.
That's fine.
That's fine. Yeah. I don't care.
Yeah.
That's and I think it's interesting too, because people don't want the reputation. They're like, well, I don't want the reputation of suing people. Do you want the reputation that you don't care about getting paid?
Right.
I would rather have the reputation be like, hey, if you call Josh, they'll do a great job, but you better fucking pay them.
Right.
Like, I want that reputation.
Yeah. Right.
Like, fuck around and find out. We were, Greg and I were talking about some of this shit the other day, and on a very, very small scale, it was really, I just hated the fucking client. We had done a shit ton of work for him, and he was one of those guys that paid everything that you asked for in the beginning and then tried to screw you in the end.
Yeah.
And I was just sick and tired of dealing with this guy. And we had put some aftermarket parts on these new systems, and we sent him invoices for him, and he decided that he wasn't going to pay it. And he said that should have been on there on the install, which it shouldn't have been. It wasn't part of the system, doesn't come from the factory. So I waited until the next time that we were invited on that property, because there was a bunch of apartments to do work. And I said, I'll go. And I walked over and I took every one of them fucking parts off. I'll take my shit back. I don't care.
Yeah, it's not yours. You didn't pay for them. They're mine.
And oh man, he blew a gasket when he found out. And I told him, I was like, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
You can't make me put it back on.
Right.
I don't give a shit. You didn't pay for him. Oh man, he was not happy, but I don't care. I'll come take my shit out. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, fuck you, dude.
Yeah, if we're gonna go to court, let's make it fun.
Yeah, right. Just standing in a courtroom with your bag of parts, like these are mine.
Yeah. He didn't want to pay us thousands, and he got fucking. I mean, he just blew a gasket over a few $100. I'm like, I don't care. You want to play this game? I'll play.
Yeah,
I don't give a shit.
That's my shit.
Yeah. And that's how I feel. And again, like, I wish some people were a little more aggressive about protecting their interests. Because that's the thing is, and to kind of lighten this back up a little bit, I'm 100% taking care of the client. What is in the best interest of the client? I am 100% all in. And if we did something and we need to correct it, I will spend every penny that we have and borrow more to solve the problem.
Right.
And we will do whatever we got to take to whatever we do to take care of that problem. The minute though that you start trying to take from me, different game.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I say that because I don't want people to think like this is how I am with everybody. I will fucking give you the moon to solve your problem and cultivate this relationship and savor it and do everything we can for our reputation. But again, at the end of the day, you fucking turn on me, it's over.
Yep.
It's fucking over. I will. Yeah. I don't want it to be premeditated since we're recording this.
Earth, motherfucker.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I think it's good to be reasonable until it's time to be unreasonable.
Yeah. Who's that? Heemeyer? He's like, sometimes reasonable men must do unreasonable things.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm kind of a fan of that. So,
yeah.
But, again, the point I really want people to make is who are you? Who's your business? What market are you? And what do you know about your company that empowers you to take care of your shit?
Right.
Don't fucking blame contractors for a contract that you signed that you didn't understand.
Right.
I'm sorry, that's a you problem.
Yep.
And we've all done it. I'm not preaching and pointing fingers. We all have done it. We all do it. What I'm saying is you just need to be aware of the situation that you're putting yourself in by not being educated.
Yeah. Yeah. Take the lessons from us. We did it the hard way.
Yeah, we do. We're still doing it. And that's, we're getting better at this too. This isn't something that changes overnight. And that's why I said, like, you have to get better at taking ownership of your company and what you're agreeing to do in the contracts that you're signing, the customers that you work for, the work that you want to be known for. What are you doing? The building that my office is in, which I love this facility. I've become friends with the owners. I've actually done some coaching with them and they just had an HVAC company come out and installed some new units, did some stuff over here. Two weren't working. Then they decided they weren't going to answer the phone, so they couldn't get the guy back out. So they call another company. The other company's like, this is all wrong. They didn't even take the shipping boards out of one of the rooftop units.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
So the owner was asking me about it. He's like, why do people do this? And I said, I don't really know, but here's something that I do know. People have their own definition of what's good enough.
Yeah. Definition of done changes.
And to them, he may have done that job and been confident that that was the best that they could do.
Right.
And because that's his standard.
Mm-hmm.
And this other company came in, much higher level operation, much higher level experience. And they were like, all of these things is wrong.
Yeah.
And I said, it's a different standard.
Yeah.
And you control that standard internally.
Mm-hmm.
We talk about all the time with quality of welds and fabrication tolerances. You can control that standard.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's nothing to do with the fucking market. But it's interesting to me when people go out and they do a shit job and they want top pay. And then they complain when the customer's like, that's not good enough. And he's like, I almost got into a fist fight with a contractor one day because we were putting in-floor heat in this great big building. Mm-hmm. And so they were contracted to lay the rock, obviously. Mm-hmm. It had more waves than the Florida Keys. This fucking thing, there was no flat spot in this rock. And he literally standing there, and he was one of these old fat white guys that thought he knew everything. And he was at the bar at 1 o'clock every day.
Right.
Called me son. No, that's always nice. But he was like, tell me what's wrong with this. I'm like, what's not wrong? There's not a
tell me what's right with it
here. I'm like, we can't put 2-inch polystyrene down because it's going to break on every low spot. So, but my point of that story is that was the best that he could do, and he was confident in the quality.
Yeah.
I can't change that for him.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Pick somebody better.
yeah. And so we come in, the battle becomes, lowering my expectation to meet somebody else's standard. I'm like, oh,
Right.
but
Nope.
no, but
Yeah.
but I don't know. Anyway, my point is like, just fucking own your shit, man. Like it's your
Yeah.
business. Like own your shit.
Mhm.
Don't blame it on the market. Don't blame it on the contractors and the clients. Like it's your business.
It's
And it's
you.
going to
It's
suck.
always
And
you.
yeah, you decide.
Yeah. It's not going to be fair. Quit fucking expecting it to be.
No. No. Lord. So let me see if I can get this intro right since the Instagram's changed now. and the website's changed. So
Yeah.
you're still on Instagram at Nate Newton 87. Now mine is at Blue Collar Insiders. The website is bluecollarinsiders.com. And the email is jhewitt@bluecollarinsiders.com. So it'll take me 300 episodes to get that down.
I don't like that either. So
that's all. We're just changing that. We're changing positions, Nate. We're adding some spice back into our relationship.
All right. Thank God. It's a little stagnant there.
Just so missionary Mary over here.
Yeah. Ew. That's the idea of you laying there naked with your legs in the air.
Why are my legs in the head of your legs? They're just beard to beard, eye to eye. Oh,
I'm clearly the pitcher in this relationship, right?
You're gonna smash me. You're gonna smash me.
Yeah, it's
so
only gonna
I
happen
be
one
on
time.
Top.
Yeah.
I hope everybody's weirded out now.
I'm glad we get everybody to walk away with that one.
All right, guys. Thanks for being here. Get shit done. See ya.